Well, hello friends, I hope you're having a great day today. Happy hump day to you. It's Wednesday. God's kept us halfway through the week. It's all downhill from here, at least as far as counting down the days to the weekend is determined. Welcome to today's edition of Take 5. Well, hey, this week we're talking about the life of Joseph. And we are dealing with the thought, but God was with him, and we're taking that straight from a scripture in Acts and in Genesis 39. But Acts chapter 7 verse 9 says, because the patriarchs, that's Joseph's brothers, were jealous of him and hated him, they sold him into slavery. Here's the best line of the whole verse. But God was with him and rescued him from all his trouble, and he gave Joseph wisdom and enabled him to gain goodwill and favor with Pharaoh, king of Egypt. But God was with him, regardless of what happened. His brothers hated him, they envied him, they sold him into slavery. Then he was lied on in Potiphar's house, but every step of the way we learn God was with him. If there was a line anywhere in the Bible that describes the life of Joseph, it would be that one line with those 5 words, but God was with him. There's really nothing else you need to know. If God is with you, that is sufficient. Now, after all of Joseph's perplexities that we've talked about with his brothers and the pit and slavery and the lying and the hate and the prison and all of that, Joseph finally saw fulfillment of his dream, and he did that because God was with him through every part of the process that he went through. In the land that was supposed to be his captivity, he becomes a successful prime minister of the whole region there, vice pharaoh as it were. That's the only one he finds himself answering to other than God. He marries a wife, and they have 2 sons, and then Joseph names them, those 2 sons, according to the way God has blessed him. Genesis 41 records that account. It says, before the year of the famine came, 2 sons were born to Joseph. He called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God has made me forget all my hardship and all my father's house. The name of the second one he called Ephraim, for God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. Manasseh, God has made me forgetful of my hardship and all my father's house. Ephraim, God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. I want to talk about those 2 boys' names if we can. First, I want to deal with Manasseh. We'll talk about Ephraim tomorrow. But let's just deal with Manasseh, whose name means God has made me to forget all of my hardship and all of my father's house. God made him forgetful while he was there. Now, we have a tendency to use the word forget kind of loosely in our everyday terminology. We say things like, I forgot about this, or I forgot to do that. And in our everyday use of the word, it kind of loses its validity, and it becomes very passive. It becomes something that we did not intend to do. It becomes something that was kind of accidental, as it were. Actually, the word forget, it's a very proactive term. It's not something that we do haphazardly. It's something that we should do on purpose. Forget actually means this. You'll want to remember these definitions. Number 1, to disregard intentionally. That means I did it on purpose. Number 2, it is to purposefully put something behind you. And number 3, it is having memories of the past but not bound by their restraints. So forget is not something that we do unintentionally. It's something that we do on purpose. Now, understand this form of forgetting, it doesn't mean that you erase something from your mind. I wish we could do that. I don't think there's ever been a person that's ever been able to erase things completely from their mind. When you deal with hurt and hardship and pain and suffering and sorrow all along the way, you don't forget those things. You don't forget the faces of those things. You would love to wipe them out, wouldn't you? I know that there are things and situations and even people that I would love to wipe their faces and wipe those circumstances out of my mind and never think about them again. But you don't do that. That's not what forgetting is about. We want to erase it from our mind completely, but forgetting has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with putting it behind me and not being hindered by it. Putting it behind and not being shackled to it and not allowing it to interfere with your purpose in your future. That's what forgetting is all about. So it simply means that we no longer allow something to control us. That's the thing. So we come to the place in our life where we must learn to forget. And that's what Joseph said. God has made me forget all of the pain, all of the hate, all of the hurt, all that his brothers did to him, all of the sorrow that he has endured, the lies that Potiphar's wife has told, everything that's happened when the cupbearer forgot about him, all of the pain the past 13 years, God has made him forgetful. He still remembers it. He knows all of what happened, but he does not allow it to hinder his future. That's what forgetful is all about. It also carries with it the meaning of the word forsake, and that meaning of the word forsake is to acknowledge the past while renouncing and turning away from it. And there are people by the thousand that need to learn to do this. People that have been hurt, people that have been wounded, people that have been injured emotionally and physically and spiritually. We need to learn to renounce the past, let go of it, put it behind us, and stop allowing it to control our future. In the land of his captivity, Joseph became the master over what was supposed to master him. Did you hear that? He became the master. He became the prime minister in the land of his captivity over everything that was supposed to master him. 3 things real quick that I believe are important that we need to learn to forget and not allow to master us. And that is, number 1, the hard places in life that we faced. We cannot allow hurtful places and hard places and trying places to continue to hinder us from our destiny. We cannot do that. Job chapter 11 verse 16, the Bible said, you will forget your misery and you will remember it as waters that pass away. You know that old saying, it's like water under a bridge. It went under and it's gone. Just forget about it. That's what we've got to learn to do. You may not forget the event, but we can learn to put that event behind us and not allow it to control us. Number 2, relationships that we need to forget. Sometimes we get so dependent on relationships with certain people, we look to them for approval and appreciation and stability. And when that changes, it gets us all out of sorts and all messed up. And we need to learn to forget that and move forward. And thirdly, people that have hurt us in the past, just like Joseph with his brothers. We need to learn to get beyond that. You may not ever forget the face or forget the act, but learn how to stop allowing that to control you. Paul said it this way in Philippians 3, I'm going to forget those things that are behind me, and I'm going to press forward to the things that God has in front of me, pressing toward the mark that God has put in front of me for my life. That's what we've got to do. Well, hey friend, I've got to get out of here today. It's been great being with you. I hope you have a great day. I look forward to being with you tomorrow on Thursday's edition of Take 5. Till then, God bless you. Have a great day. Hey, remember, it's time to put some things and some people and some hurt behind us, and let's press forward to the dream God has for you.